and trucks into the end.
And obviously a favorite of his teammates there. And
Coach Johnson do that time and time again on homecoming, putting a senior in there.
Welcome to the Pigskins Pick Week number 2. I'm Trey Mitchell. Our special guest picker this week is Cassandra Clayton. You just saw the clip from him last year at homecoming. Cassandra, talk about that touchdown, especially that jump cut you did to get in the end zone on homecoming last year.
Man, I want to thank Coach Johnson for putting me in there for my senior year at homecoming. It was awesome. But the thing is, I used to play fullback for Coach Johnson freshman year. Then junior year, I got moved to lineman. So it was good going back to the old ways.
Right. Now, Cassandra, one of the reasons you're on the show is one of my favorite, other than that clip, was last year. You weren't a starter. You weren't a star at Lake Forest. But we're watching the Woodbridge game. You're in the background congratulating every player after every play. And Coach Webb told me you're one of the best guys he's ever coached. And he said you never missed a practice.
Nope. Coach Webb is an awesome guy. He's a great coach, great person overall. Yeah.
And Coach Johnson and Coach Webb speak highly of you. And that's why you're here today. And that's also because we see you following our Twitter stuff. We see you a big supporter of 302 Sports and Delaware Live. So you're going to be our guest picker for this week. So are you all studied up and ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. We're going to start with the Friday night game, 7 o'clock, number 5, Caravel at Sussex Tech. These are 2 state tournament teams from 2021, but both suffered first-round losses last year, lost some key players to graduation. The Ravens, they picked up a big win last week over a much-improved Delcastle team, 28-20. Caravel put up huge numbers, 43-0 over Glasgow. The Bucks travel south, but they're going home with a win. I'm taking Caravel. Cassandra, who do you have?
I'm going to go Caravel also. They got a nice team that I heard of. Yeah.
All right, Trey Mitchell?
Yeah, so Caravel, we know they have a good program to make the state tournament most years. They've gone deep in the playoffs. They've got bounced out early last year. And it looks like they're having a good season so far. Sussex Tech, on the other hand, they got Jaron Sample and Zion Roach. They're both playing very well for the Ravens this year. And they have Jeremiah Handy playing well at quarterback as well. So it's a tough one. But I think I'm going to stick with Caravel, just like you guys.
Okay. We're going to move to a Saturday morning game, 10:30 a.m. It's the number 1 ranked defending state champion, Archbishop Hawks at Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant, they have a few playmakers, and they play solid in the trenches. They're coming off a tough home loss to your Spartans of Lake Forest, Cassandra, last Saturday. This week, they welcome in number 1 Archmere. The Hawks have playmakers all over the field, returning a lot of talent from the state championship team. The Green Knights are good, and I think they're going to have a fine season, but they're going to start this season off 0-2. I'm taking Archmere.
I'm going to go Archmere too, but Mount Pleasant has really good players, really skilled players that can move the ball.
Trey.
Yeah, I think Mount Pleasant can hang tough. Like you guys both said, they got skilled players that can move the ball. But Archmere is the defending state champs. They have quarterback Chris Albero and a whole lot of other talent like Archmere.
Let's move to a Saturday game at noon. I kind of like this game. Wilmington Charter ranked number 7 in Class A, and they'll be taking on Glasgow. It's going to be at Glasgow. Has the turnaround begun at Wilmington Charter? The 465 players out for football this year showed up at summer camp. They're 1-0. Glasgow doesn't have the same depth. They do have better numbers this year. They took one on the chin last week from a really good Caravel team. But I think the Dragons are better than their loss to that 2A team last week. I expected a little bit more from Charter against First State Military Academy. But I'm going to take the upset here. I'm going Dragons.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dragons too. I was at the scrimmage when Lake Forest scrimmage Glasgow. They got some nice players that can get around.
Trey.
Yeah, Charter, it's good to see they got those numbers out. And I know we're talking about the tough Glasgow loss last week, but yeah, with you guys again, I like Glasgow here as well.
We'll move to Friday, 7:30. This is one of the big games of the week, big AAA game. number 4 St. George's, and number 5 Dover. The first of 3 big games with ranking implications. St. George's won big over Cesar Rodney last week, while Dover did the same at Hodgson. I expect a lot of offense in this game. It should be fun to watch. Who makes the big stops at the right time is going to win. I see this as a close game. I'm giving Dover the advantage of the other home team.
Dover's crowd will give them. I'm going with Dover because when you play at Dover, their crowd gets into the game with them.
Trey.
All right. Well, yeah, Dover. Both teams put the offense. Dover's Hashim Cosme has nearly 200 yards rushing last week against Hodgson. And like I said, that center offense is they're the real deal. We know the St. George's can put up points too. They had 357 total yards last week on offense. But I like Dover at home. I like Dover in an offensive shootout, so I'm going to go Dover.
You had Dover last week. You're the only one to pick them. You were right. So let's move to another game. This is the one I had the big win with last week with Friends beating Delmar. It's a Friday night, 7:30, Delmar at Red Lion. Both these teams got off to a rough start in their opener. They were facing 2 of the best teams. Delmar falling to number 4 Wilmington Friends, Red Lion to number 2 St. Mark's. Somebody's defense has to show up in this game to win. We're going to see the passing game of Red Lion versus the double dive run game of Delmar. The Wildcats have years of experience winning games on the road. I know it's week 2, but a loss to either one of these teams here in this District 3 game could be devastating. I like the Wildcats to get it done on the road.
I'm also go with Delmar. That double dive, that triple option is pretty hard to stop once they get going.
Trey Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it on the head there. Red Lion can throw the ball around. We know Delmar is going to just run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. Double dive. It's a tough one for me. I want to be different and pick different, but I've always been big on, I think, run the ball controls the clock, and I think that's what Delmar's going to do to get this win.
Saturday night, 7 o'clock, Hodgson at number 3, Sussex Central. Sussex Central's defense showed up last Friday night in a thrilling 7-0 win over Salesianum. They tested themselves, Andrew Long's second quarter touchdown stood for 30 minutes in that game. I like the playmakers Hodgson has, but on the road in the Castle, Trey knows my picking rule. Do not pick against the Golden Knights in the Castle. I'm going to do a Golden Knights. Sussex Central wins this game.
Yeah, I'm also going Sussex Central also. PJ Henry, I seen what he's been doing on there. They've been doing good.
Trey Mitchell.
Yeah, Hodgson's quarterback, London Bright, has 630 yards in 2 games and 467 of them through the air. And saw a little bit last week. Central got the ball thrown on a little bit last week, so that could be a bright spot for Hodgson. But Central's defense was tough as nails when it counted. They came up with big plays. They came up with big stops. I don't pick against Central in the Castle. I think they're going to make the plays they need to. They're going to limit the scoring, and they're going to run that ball. And once they get going, they're going to find the way to the end zone. They're going to win.
Offense sells tickets. Defense wins championships. Let's go to the big game in AAA Friday night, 7 o'clock. Number 2 Smyrna versus number 1 Middletown in the Harvest Bowl. Obviously, we're not going to question Middletown's ranking with the loss to St. John's College. They tested themselves against a national power. Smyrna's offense may not have been what we thought it was going to be, but that was their week 1. It wasn't their recent offense in recent years. But their defense showed up in a 14-0 shutout over Arundel, who had just beaten Dover the week before. Dover has some offense. This Harvest Bowl is as well as number 1 versus number 2. I'm not going to give the Cavaliers home field advantage because Smyrna has that I don't care attitude. They like the hostile environment. Matter of fact, more hostile the better. But I am going to go with Middletown with the win here. Cavaliers with the win.
Smyrna has Yamir Knight, he's a dog on that field, but I'm going to have to go with Middletown.
Trey?
All right. Well, I think I found my opportunity to finally be different here.
All right.
You said the Eagles pitched a shutout last week, 14-0. Not the offense we see, but that doesn't mean it's not going to change this week, right? That offense will kick right up this Friday. And Middletown, yes, they tested themselves. I think it's going to be a classic game. They always have great games. I'm gonna go Smyrna on the road. I like what you said, but I don't give a crap attitude. Let's go Smyrna on the road.
Wow. When a Caesar Rodney guy picks Smyrna, Sandon, we got something to talk about there, huh? All right, let's go to our game of the week. Friday night, Milford versus number 6 Lake Forest. It's the Battle of the Bell. We may be in store for a classic Battle of the Bell here Friday night. A lot of playmakers on the field in this game. Jonathan Tyndall, he was the all-district quarterback last year for Lake Forest. Ryan Mejia, he moves from wide receiver to quarterback, and he gives the Bucks a dual threat. I see these teams even at the skill possession and fairly even in the trenches. I do give Milford a slight edge in the trenches with those bookend tackles and Desmond Alduje and Darrell Hughes. Aiden Young's breakaway speed as a fullback maybe something to watch and possibly a key in this game. This game's razor close. When I line the two teams up, quarterback, running back, wide receivers line, I'm dead even with both teams. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I should flip a coin, spin a wheel. Spartans have won 7 of the last 10. Sorry, Cassandra, I'm going with the Bucks.
See, Milford, they have really, really good players. They got Ryan Mejia, AJ Kravis, Desmond Aladuge. Their line is pretty good. But on Lake Forest, Khalif Spencer, Aiden Young, Jonathan Tyndall, Jameer Marable, Johnson Oakley. There's a lot of I'm going with Lake Forest.
Guys, on with the home team, Trey Mitchell. You're going to have to make the call.
Yeah, you too. Definitely. You pointed out the playmakers already. Made my job easy here. Yeah, Milford, they got the offense. They got those guys on the line. We know Lake Forest has playmakers. They got speed. They got power. Both teams they're even. I like Lake Forest here. I liked what I saw from them last year and last week. I'm gonna go Lake Forest.
All right, Cassandra, I got a question. You've held that bell up before. How heavy is it?
It's pretty heavy. Like I say 30 pounds.
Right, with the
Maybe
trophy
more.
all together. Yep. All right, so it's in Felton right now, and Cassandra and Trey say it's not moving. I'm going to say the Bell's making a trip to Milford this year, but I'm telling you, watch this game Friday night. Flip back and forth between Middletown and Smyrna if you have to. I think this is going to be a nail biter, just like it was. I think it was 3 years ago. It was the COVID year, right, Cassandra, when it came down to the last minute of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expect another one of these. I do not see either team pulling. I just see this as a hard-hitting slugfest. Cassandra, again, thanks for being on. 1 loss is the record to beat. That's Marty Sheehan from week 1. So far, last week, me and Trey stubbed our toe a little bit, but Brandon Bossert, 2 losses in his picks. And so, Cassandra, you just need one loss or no losses to take the lead here in our guest picker competition. But again, thanks for being on. Anything you want to say before we go?
Thank you guys for having me on. It was a pleasure being on the show. And this week is a good week of football.
Absolutely is. Trey Mitchell.
Hey, I guess I don't want to say week 3, but I guess it's week 2. It's week 0. We've had 2 good weeks of football already. Can't wait to get down to Lake Forest and watch another classic.
For Cassandra Clayton, Trey Mitchell, I'm Benny Mitchell. Thanks for watching our Pigskins Pick. We'll see you next week with another guest picker.